What's up, Roblox? It's DB, and today I'm going to be showing you how to AFK farm all of the different mobs currently in the game. Of course, the bosses do need to be spawned, and you have to run into the arena, and then there's so many like different attacks you got to avoid, so a little bit more tricky for doing bosses. In fact, I don't think that's something that we should be AFK farming anyway, but I'm going to show you how to AFK farm slimes, Buffalkor, wizard lizards, as well as the Skorps in a few different ways. I've done a few videos like this before, but the map keeps changing, and so everything keeps changing. So this is as of today. So of course, you know, the game team may change things up again because things do change rapidly around here. So let's go back to my island and we're going to AFK farm. So I've got my portals here ready to go. So we're going to start with slime here. So let's go to slime islands. So for the slime, it's actually really simple. What I like to do, in fact, I like to actually use a gilded steel hammer if you have one. If you don't, you can also use the Kong axe. Pretty much the same thing. So it's a reskinned version. So you can basically use this if you don't have a gilded steel hammer. If you do, then use that. You know, it doesn't really matter. You can use either of them. They're pretty much the same thing. So it really depends on, you know, whatever you prefer. I'm going to use the gilded steel hammer just because I'm used to it. But the spot for slime island that I like to use is right behind this tree. Okay. So how we're going to do is we're going to actually aim the front part of this, and we're going to put our mouse right here. Now this will only work on computers. I don't really know many ways to do AFK farms on mobile. I mean, it just doesn't seem like, you know, mobile is really the way to go, as in particular for mobs. Obviously for auto AFKing like crops and stuff, it shouldn't be too bad. So ideally you do need to have an auto clicker, so you can pretty much do this. And remember how melee weapons work is you can actually use your mouse and whatever's in front of your actual character. So if your character is pointing this way, then pretty much everything that attacks you here is going to get hit, and then wherever your mouse is as well. So that's the nice thing, is you can actually attack two different directions at once. So you can see I'm actually attacking the slime, and if a slime comes up right here around this tree, it gets attacked. The reason why I like this setup right here behind the tree is because the tree itself acts as a shield for you. So it has to go around the tree, right? So it has to go around this way or this way. So that way and even this, they're not going to spawn on this side. So pretty much you only have directions coming from this side and this side, right? So you got this covered and you got the back covered like this. So there's no way for them to ever attack you. The nice thing also about the gilded steel hammer is that, you know, it does actually give them a nice knockback. And so that way it doesn't really they can't really get that close. Now my heavy weapon is only like, I think level 50. Let's go check it real quick. So let's go look at my heavy weapon here. Yeah, it's only 47. So it's not that high of base damage. I only have a 9.4 on my base damage here. So, you know, the higher the damage, the better. I mean, the faster these things will die. So as you're AFK farming this, obviously that's going to continue to level up. And so it's going to get easier and easier to do this AFK farm the higher that level is. Now, if you're starting out and you're only level 1 with the gilded steel hammer, it might be a little harder for you to do this. So far in my test, I have not taken any damage, but if you're taking a really long time to kill these guys, then there's a good chance they're eventually going to creep up onto you, because they get closer and closer and closer each time they jump at you. So like if you are like a level 1 on heavy melee, this might be a little harder for you. So what I would actually recommend is level that up as fast as you can. You know, go like kill core a couple times, or, you know, kill some bosses for a bit with the hammer and level that up, and at least get it to like, I would say probably at least 25 to 30 would probably be a decent level for this, because what you don't want to have happen is like in the middle of the night, you know, you're AFK farming and then the pink slime gets you. So the great thing though about this auto AFK method is you can actually get like portal shards. You can get all these different like drops and stuff. So it's actually a really great way for you to grind, especially for stocking up your stores if you're starting out. A very common question I get is, DV, I don't really have that much to stock in my store. How do I fix that? Well, this is how you fix it. Okay. You got to grind. In particular, it's really good to grind this because the pink sticky gears, and obviously you're going to get a lot of those overnight. So pink sticky gears are very, you know, wanted. You know, at some point you might need to kill the different slimes that are out here before you start this farm, because you see these guys, they're all like really far away, and we're only getting the ones that are spawning out here. Now if I were to go and wipe all these, it's more likely that you're going to get a lot of these, but I've already grinded quite a bit of pink stickies just doing this. You know, I just sit here and I watched. I already killed a bunch of blues and I killed a bunch of pinks already during my tests. So again, this is a really good spot. If you're wondering where this tree is, let me just give you another example so you can see where the slime king is. It's just this tree right here, and then just point your character, make sure your avatar is pointing towards that way, and then you're clicking behind you, and that way it gets the slimes behind you. All right, so that is how you do slimes. Now let's go over to Buffalkor Island. I'm going to show you how to do Buffalkor. Now with Buffalkor, you want to switch over to the Rage Blade. You can actually also, by the way, I just going back to this, the Rage Blade you can also use for this as well. So you don't actually have to use a gilded steel hammer. If you want to, if you only have a Rage Blade, and you know, this is really good for you. You know, you see they do pop up really high though. Sometimes that could actually cause some issues. But pretty much Buffalkor as well as Skorps are going to use Rage Blade. So you at least need a Rage Blade. And then for Wizard Lizards, we're going to be using a spell book. So you just need need like one of these Godzilla staffs or a title spellbook, or even like a regular spellbook would work too. So let's go over here and I'm going to show you where to auto farm these. First up though, we do need to kill all these guys. So we need to kill all of them before this is going to actually work. So make sure you clear at least the ones that are closest to you. Now this one will require a little bit higher level like damage, just so you don't get like worked by these. I like the Rage Blade because the Rage Blade's so fast, you're going to be knocking them back faster. Whereas the Gilded Steel Hammer, it can be problematic, but pretty much you can just do something like this. So I like to use this like concrete area and pretty much just sit here and kill these guys. So you can see there, it's pretty quick. So I like to pretty much plant myself on the concrete, face one character here, the other character right here, and pretty much you want to keep a little tight so this mouse pointer shouldn't be all the way out here. Pretty much you can leave this character like this running all night and you're going to get a bunch of Buffalkor crystals. You're going to get all kinds of stuff for this. You do need to use a Rage Blade for this. You can use, like I said, you can use the Gilded Steel Hammer if you want to try that, but the problem is that it's not fast enough and these guys are faster than you. So, you know, they kind of charge you really quick. The other thing that could happen in the middle of the night, by the way, is sometimes, you know, especially if there's a little bit of like a lag window, sometimes they bounce really high and they can actually bounce so high that they actually bounce on top of you. And unfortunately, if that happens, you know, you'll take a little bit of damage. It shouldn't happen, but I like to stay out in the open like this. This is the best way to do it. I would recommend just hang out on this concrete strip right here. So it's right here. So you're coming back behind them and you can see it's like right there, right? Let me go ahead and kill this guy again. Now I've tried spellbooks with these. It kind of works. But the problem with spellbooks is you can't shoot in multiple directions. That's what's really powerful. Like, I can't do this, right? My mouse is not going to damage this guy. It's not going to do it. So melee is going to be way better because you can hit in multiple directions. Some mobs, you don't really need to worry about that. And so like Wizard, you don't need to worry about that. And Skorps, you don't need to worry about that. If your magic's high level enough, you can definitely use title with the Skorp. So it really just depends on which mob you want to like attack. Like I said, there's multiple weapons. I will, you know, always tell you which weapons you can use. But it really depends on the mob you attack. So we're over here on the Lizard Islands, and so I'm going to show you how to AFK farm wizard lizards. Look at my XP here. So you can see my magic is 89 and combat is 93. Now it does take forever for you to actually get through this, okay? So it's going to take a long time for you to actually grind this. Now my damage is actually pretty high now. So check this out. So I'm like doing pretty much over 200 damage now. So it's certainly worth AFK farming just for the XP. I would, even if you don't care about the items, the XP is the way to go. Now I've done tests on this. I like the wizard lizards best because they're just more reliable. Out of all of them, they're the most reliable. I don't really take damage ever from them, but I have a spot here that works every night for me. I've never had any issues. I've never died. The only thing I've ever had is like a server reset. So you get your spellbook out. You can also use the Godzilla staff. If you don't have the spellbook, you can use this one. It's the same thing, okay? Alternatively, you can use a regular spellbook. So right here, this corner right here is where he spawns, okay? So he's going to spawn right in that corner. So this is right here, this little patch. That's where he spawns. This guy's not going to mess with you typically. So that guy right there, this guy right here doesn't typically, mess with you unless you get too close. If you're right here, he might attack you. So the best way to do it is kind of stay pretty far away from this guy. So like stay close as you can to this without being too far. And you're going to point at the corner of the grass like that and just kill this guy. And as long as you kill him before his fireball can reach you, you're not going to take any damage. So even though he casts his fireball actually becomes like null. Basically it can't do any damage to you if it's after he's dead. So pretty much I go in first person mode like this. You don't have to be in first person mode if you don't want to. It's pretty much the same thing, right? So I can pretty much look like this if I wanted to. This is pretty much what you're going to do all night. I mean, I could pretty much leave my computer now with an auto clicker going and it's just going to do this all night. And you're going to get tons and tons of potion bottles. I've got so many empty potion bottles. I don't know what to do with it. But like I said, you can see right here, this is the spot. Alternatively, you can back up a little bit if you want, if you're worried about this guy, because he will creep around at some point. And if he gets too close, he'll charge you. So you do want to, like I said, you kind of want to stay a little further back if you can. I like to stay in first person mode and then just point at the corner of this grass over here. And when he turns at you, he's going to walk towards you. But this is the spot. If you're looking, there's like a little bit of inset right here. There's a tree right there. There's that wood right there. It's just that little corner right there. So that is the best spot for AFK farming wizards. Known that spot for a long time. So, definitely check that out if you're looking for wizard lizard AFK. And honestly, wizard lizards are the best way to get to your XP up to 50. Okay. So going to Desert Island is not the best way to get to level 50, in my opinion. They definitely give you more XP, but they're harder to kill than the wizards. Wizards are way easier to kill. So coming over to Desert, we're I'm going to show you how to AFK farm these guys. These guys are a bit of a pain. And unfortunately, as high level of my magic is, these guys are not great about being nice for our AFK farm here with the spells. Like they're eventually going to get you with the spells. So the best thing to do is pretty much use your Rage Blade, and you're going to have your character, facing this guy, and then you're going to have your mouse pointing this guy right here. And you can pretty much leave like this. Now, I do want to back up a little bit just because this is not such a good spot angle-wise. See how he's kind of shifting? We want to get a little bit further back on this ramp. We don't want to be on the ramp. We want to be down ramp a little bit. So we're going to back up just a little bit in a second here. You got to be really careful with these guys because they do poison you and they hurt. They hurt big time. Okay, so we want to basically be down just a little bit right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to face this one right here. And we're going to put this pointer just a little to the right, like that. And it's important that we're a little bit down so we can actually hit these. Now, if this happens a lot, see this guy where he stopped? Sometimes they will glitch out and stop if they haven't been, if you haven't killed them yet right away, or if you stopped moving, they will kind of pause like that. Now, like I said, if your magic's high up enough, like mine is, I'm doing 200 damage a pop, this could actually work for you. The downside is as soon as a ruby spawns, you're in trouble. The ruby will get closer and closer and eventually kill you. So like I said, the Rage Blade approach is actually really good. And if you can just do one at a time instead of worrying about that guy over there, it's so much better because you can put your mouse forward and your sword forward, and it does actually double hit them. You see, sometimes it'll actually hit the mouse or whichever first. And if stuff gets stuck like this a lot, just like you can macro it, like I said, you can actually make them jump a little bit. Or if you just wanted to make them jump all the time, you could. So if you want to put something down on your space bar, you could do something like that. But pretty much you could just leave your mouse like this. And I would still move this mouse just a little to the right just in case you miss. But you can pretty much just do something like this as well. Now, alternatively, I know a lot of people are going to be like, DB, I've got the best AFK farm ever. And you might have even seen it on Jesse's video. It's something I actually discovered a long time ago as well. And I just never made a video on it. And I notified the devs of the glitch because I felt it was kind of bad because what was happening is, and the reason why I never made a video on it, was it was lagging the server out too much. And so the devs do know about it. They haven't seemed to have any issues with it. But you can actually hot swap different weapons through a macro. So similar to this, right? I'm pretty much doing it with like just spamming the keys. You can actually hot swap weapons. For example, I have 2 different gilded steel hammers, right? So I can pretty much spam these 2 and through macro and actually attack really, really fast. So I'm going to show you what that looks like in a second. So you can see here, I'm actually using my spell and I'm hitting with the Rage Blade. So you get the best of both worlds, right? You're doing spell damage and you're actually hitting the Rage Blade, plus it can't go anywhere. It's doing so much damage to this guy. And you can speed this up even more, but here's a great example. Here's a gold Skorp coming up on me, and it's gonna die really quick. See, it just died. So it is a great AFK farm. It is kind of laggy. I don't recommend it. Let me just say, I never use this technique. As good as it is, it's just not necessary. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button and smash the subscribe button if you're new, and let me know what you actually farm and get out of this. I'm curious if you get anything special. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.